Hi everyone, I'm the Broken Meeple. Win or lose, I'm going to be honest with you. This is the third of 5 videos we have got dedicated to this top 50 of updated 2026. You know, this is basically my 50 favorite games. I'm going through telling you why I love them, why they've gone up or down, you know, basically just giving you my thoughts on a positive note rather than a negative one like some people like to slag me off for. So, you know, this is just my list of 50 games. You may love these, you may hate these, by all means get your thoughts in the comments below, but without further ado, let's just crack on with the 30 through 21. Number 30, I mean, has this list already not given you enough reason to agree that I do like heavy Euro games, people? You know, the amount of comments from trolls who are like, you don't like this game because you don't like heavy games. Be quiet! Shut up! Yeah, it gets on my wick when I see that because it's just the weakest defense that they have to, like, go against the criticism I have. Well, here's another heavy game for you. One of the most popular, if not the most popular heavy game that came out last year. And it is number 30 in my list. It could even climb as time goes by. But, you know, really the only main problem I have with this is that it is a very front-loaded teach for players. And if you play it with 4, if they are newish players, this game's going to go on until the end of friggin' time. But I love Galactic Cruise. Galactic Cruise is still a really good, fun, heavy Euro. I even played it at HandyCon. A 3-player game, it didn't outstay its welcome. It was a good laugh. I think I went down the strategy of lots of little trips. So it was basically the Butlins of space travel. With just like small ships, barely any stuff on them, just a quick little trip up to like Mars and back. You know, nice, cheap, little affordable holidays. And it was leveling me up with points and getting me bonuses like that. So, you know, you can approach this game in different ways, and I've yet to buy the expansions for this game, although I'm a little bit hesitant about it. There are some that say you can get ones that give you a quick start for setup. That sounds amazing. I want that expansion right now. And there may be like some more variety for some of the missions and objectives and stuff, which is like, okay, it's not like the game's devoid of variety at the moment, but I don't want to add more complication to the game, because the game's already complicated as this. You know, there's quite a lot going on in it. But this was a fun video for me to do because I remember making this review video where I said that I was going to do all the video clips from The Fifth Element, because every time I think of a Galactic Cruise, the first thing that pops into my head is Floston Paradise from the Fifth Element film.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
So start melting, ladies, because the boy is hotter than hot. He's hot.
An underrated cult classic. You know, it's a dumb film, but it's a fun film. You know, and it was a fun video to do, and I managed to do it. But, you know, the game itself, it's very meaty. It's got Ian O'Toole's graphic design all over it, which is not wasted here, unlike train games, you know, where it is wasted. Here, it's definitely not wasted. You need it, and it makes sense. You know, there's very few aspects where you're like, huh, what does that mean? No, it tends to make a lot of sense. But there's a good theme. There's some good strategy and tactics you can employ in it, and I just find it a very good, fun Euro game. I mean, this is Lacerda if you don't want to get into Lacerda. It feels like a Lacerda game in the way it plays out. But this is Kinson Key Games, helped out by Drander Games, and it's not a Lacerda, but it sure as hell looks and feels like one. And like I say, it feels more like the sort of game that Lacerda would have done in his old days. You know, it's got that similar feeling to me. But that being said, it's different designers. You know, this is a new game, you know, new publisher, new game, and it basically just, wow, what did it do? It took off like a rocket. You know, no pun intended. It really did, like, completely blow a lot of people away for heavy Euro games. It's frequently thought of as the best game of the year. Did I put it? I don't think I put it as my #1 game of the year. But it certainly, I think, might be my number 3. I mean, it was definitely up there for me. And this game is a fantastic heavy Euro. So, yeah, you don't like heavy Euros.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
29 climbed 31 places from 60. This one's had a little bit of a resurgence because A, I have a desire to return to it, but also I have played some games of it recently, particularly at my Balkner club, where I've like, finally I now remember why it is I like this game. It's just difficult to have got it to the table. One thing that has helped is the fact that there are these scenario packs that come out for it, which means that you don't have to commit to an 8 game long campaign or something. I know you can play everything standalone, but let's face it, they work better when you play it as a campaign, don't they? Because you obviously can do more with the upgrading over time. But this is Arkham Horror, the LCG. So the LCG is still, in my collection there. There's still a lot of it, but I have stopped collecting it. Or at least for the moment I have. I may fall victim to getting the stuff I've missed out on, but I stopped just before Hemlock Vale, or whatever it was called. That's the one I haven't got, and I haven't got Drowned City after it. I've got the scenario packs, bar the Film Fatale one, but the Film Fatale one was the one that I played recently at my club, which was another reason why I brought this one back up the list, because it was a very fun scenario. But and I like the multiplayer aspect of it, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe as much as I like playing it solo, maybe it's when I play it with other people, it works better for me. Because it is a co-op at the end of the day, so it is fun to play it with other players. But being able to utilize the strengths and weaknesses of multiple characters rather than having one character that's got to try and be like an every fits all, one man fits all type thing. And, when you play 2 decks by yourself, it can get a little bit cumbersome to do it. So maybe it's the multiplayer aspect that's brought it back for me. But, the scenario packs do make it easier to get a game out. I still have to use the internet for deck building, so there's just too many cards in it, and maybe that's one reason why I haven't bought any new cards, because I'm like, it's too much to look at. The whole second core set and what they're doing with the format sounds good on paper, but again, having to constantly think, oh, hang on, which cards are legal, which aren't now? I probably won't pay too much attention to that. I'll probably just use any card that's in the collection, because it's not like I'm trying to fulfill a criteria or a ranking leaderboard system or something, but yeah, it's just another faff that you got to contend with. But that aside, the game is still great fun. Out of all the LCGs, it is the one that tells the best narrative out of all of them flat. It frankly is the best. There is no contest. It's got lots of good spooky Cthulhu stuff in it. The story cards and the scenarios can play out in different ways. The what is it called? The Dream Eater scenario is the one. I won't break out into a sweat when playing a card game normally, but when I played that campaign for this one, because of the subject matter being on the 8-legged arachnid form, it does break me out in a cold sweat playing it, because even just flipping a card, I'm like, there's some really nasty imagery in there, particularly like with the spider swarms. And the first mission as you're going around like a hospital ward is they start appearing, and it's like, oh god, this is horrible. I don't like it. It's like,
we have such sights to show you.
if it was a film or a TV series, I'd have nightmares. It really would. It's that freaky. But me talking about it like now still makes me want to go and play it. As the weird person I am. And that's one reason why it's popped up. The story and the cooperative nature of it is like the selling point for the Arkham Horror LCG. And maybe it's time for me to deck build a couple more decks, try out some new investigators. I do love it when you get a new investigator that I can play and test them out with. Maybe the new starter decks that are going to go. I think the starter decks were a fantastic idea, because then I can just keep the list of what goes in the starter deck and just use that as a nice quick way to get into it. But yeah, maybe it's just time for me to play a bit more multiplayer down the club, and maybe that's what will bring me back into it more, So yeah, unfortunately, the print runs for these expansions keep drying up instantly, so God knows if I'll be able to get to the Drowned City and Hemlock Vale expansions at any point soon. I'm hoping at the same time they release the second core set, they'll bring them back into print. But yeah, I could see this one breaking me. Breaking me in terms of, I will not buy any more cards for this. Yeah, famous last words. I have to buy one, a ticket, I got to buy. Number 28 has dropped 3 places. Who gives a monkeys? I mean, this is literally in this category, and it pretty much is going to stay here, I think, at this rate. At most, maybe drop another batch of 10, but that's it. In fact, we're going to play this game tonight as I record this. This is our planned Friday night game, where we're going to play it with the first expansion included, obviously, and the new Data Era expansion, because our friend has not played it with that yet. And we played this at HandyCon as well recently with the Data Era expansion in. This is the favorite of the Vladimir Suhi games. I mentioned this with Pulsar. This is Underwater Cities. Underwater Cities is the best Vladimir Suhi design that we have. Hands down, no contest, fight me. Because this one has such a cool card play system in it. It's going back to what I said about, what was the game I mentioned where you had cards and you really wanted to play them? Maybe Ada's Dream? it could be Ada's Dream that I sort of mentioned it, where it was like, oh, I really want to play this card, but that means I got to take a die like this, and it's like, ugh. This one has the same thing. You've got the different locations, which is super tight for a worker placement, like crazy, but you know, put the quick start rules in, the game is shortened a little bit, it does take a bit long, Data Era does add more options, we'll get on to that in a minute, but what I'm talking about is the card play system. All the locations have got different colours, red, green, yellow, and they vary in terms of power level, but you've got the cards that you can play to get you other cool stuff, but in order to play the card, you have to go to the location with the matching colour, and you're sort of thinking, well, I could really do with going to that location so I can get some tunnels, but I've only got red and green. I want to play this green card. What can I do that's green that would still be useful? And it's like, and you feel bad for chucking away a card, but you have to get into your mindset that you can't do that with everything in the game, and sometimes that won't necessarily help you. You may go out of your way so much to match the colours on the cards that you actually scupper your progress as a result. It's just a sort of cool system. I love it. And you know, this is a tight game. I don't often like a lot of tight games, but this one is tight with the resources, it's tight with the cards, but I think Data Era helps a little bit, because if you can get some of those CDs, the data discs, it allows you to play more cards, get more stuff done, you know, exchange resources, draw more cards, mitigate a little bit of that card draw luck issue. So it's a solid expansion for the game. I've already done a review for it, but the game is just a good, fun event game. I mean, it is an event game because it takes a while to set up, and it certainly takes a long time to play it, especially with 4 players. We're going to be there for a while. In fact, after I'm done recording this video, I'm probably going to have to set it up on this table to make sure it's ready. But yeah, it's a really good solid one. I don't care about all the museum stuff in the first expansion. That's whatever. I don't care. It's meh. It's average. It doesn't add enough to the game, and it's more rules. So I just completely ignore that bit. But Data Era with the quick start rules and the extra cards thrown in, and you have my way of playing Underwater Cities. And yeah, I know some people like to cry, you know, like to sing the praises of other Vladimir Suhi games, but frankly, this and Pulsar are the two for me.
Look at me! I'm Dr. Zoidberg, homeowner!
27, down 8 places, and this is the one that could be switching with Scholars if it's not careful. This is back to the South Tigris series, and this is my, spoiler alert, second favourite of the Tigris series. I mean, come on, you knew all 3 of them were probably going to be in the top 50 since last year, didn't you? And this is Inventors of the South Tigris. So this one is the heaviest one they've done. You don't like this game because you don't like heavy games.
Ah, smug mode.
Out of all the Carfield games, no contest, Inventors is the heaviest. There's loads of rules in it. You've got the system with the tradespeople that you pay off. You've got the workshop with the different tiles that you can grab. You've got the shipping track. You've got the worker placement spots. You've got all those machines that you put in the bottom of the board where players can interact with them together. It's got a lot of moving parts. You know, it's not a simple game. And that is one of the problems with it, and why it's dropping a bit. The fact that it is probably a bit too complicated for its own good. You know, when you get to play it, it's great fun. And I love the interaction you have with the inventions, that just because you made the invention doesn't mean that you were, just because you invented it doesn't mean that you will build it or test it or publish it. You know, and I love that. You know, you can sort of look at the different things and go, that scoring condition would be good for me. I probably want to publish that one. Right, well, hopefully somebody else will build it. I better be ready for when they do. And I love that aspect, and there's a lot of different combos you can do, lots of different ways you can go about it, and the expansion gives you unique player powers and boards, which honestly don't overcomplicate the game anymore. You know, they actually give you a way of playing. You know, if you're overwhelmed by how the hell do I do this game, they do give you a means to sort of go, well, you know what? This player power enables me to do this quite well. This is going to be my focus, and that helps with new players. I even enjoy playing this one solo. It's not a perfect solo. I know a certain few people on the solo Facebook groups will have my head off for that, but I like it fine. You know, it's not a perfect solo mode, but it's a way to get the game played solo, and it does it for me because I really enjoy the mechanics of this game so much. You know, that's why it's high up on the list. But getting this one to the table is a problem. It is a front-loaded teach. It's one that I have to go back and make sure I've got all the rules in my head ready, even though I've tried to get as many aids as I can for this. It definitely needed an insert. you know, the what do you call it, the 3D printed inserts that Garfield put on. I think they put it on Finiverse, I think it was called, and they put an insert for this one and Scholars. They made such a difference in terms of getting those two games set up. Like Inventors of the South Tigris, without an insert, is a setup chore. With the insert though, far better. But it's still a lot to get to the table, and that's why it's dropping. You know, it's not getting the plays. But man, do I have a desire to play it again, and it would be nice to play this with people who aren't experts at the game, but at least have some kind of familiarity with this game, or at least the heavier Garfield stuff. You know, playing this with people who know Garfield games is a lot easier than you would never teach this to people who have never played a Garfield game before. It's just not going to happen. But even when I've taught it to people who have played Garfield games before, you have to put up with a decent amount of AP and a little bit of extra length, but yeah, it's worth it. You know, I know I'm saying like some negatives there. It's very front loaded, but it's worth it. It's worth that effort if you can push your way through it.
That just sounds like slavery with extra steps.
Ooh la la, someone's gonna get laid in college.
26 down, 4 places. This one is just steadily dropping, and it's an evergreen. I mean, it's still going to be a game I really love. It's the first board game I ever played when I got into board game clubs. You know, not like first board game ever, but when I joined the board game club, this was the first game I was introduced to with an expansion. I wiped the floor with everybody else, loved the game, loved the board games, and it all spiraled from there. This is the one that did it. 7 Wonders. Yeah, the original 7 Wonders. You know, obviously 2nd edition with expansions now, and I prefer to play this with leaders and cities, and that's it. I think the other expansions are decent, but these are the two that I would rather play each time. But I certainly don't feel like playing 7 Wonders base game. It's just too basic. But it's still a great game for me. I still love the drafting in this game. You know, you've got to pay attention to other players, you know, in terms of, collecting a lot of science. Can I do something with these science cards? That means they don't get them. But then you've got your neighbors with the war aspect. So there's an element of like, what are they doing with those? And you do have some care about what the opponents are doing, even though you can't influence all of them. But it's just a cool setup. You know, you've got the different leaders and all the different cards that you can play to vary what strategy you're going to do, but the rules are straightforward. Take a card, plonk it down, move it on. Take a new set of cards, take one, move it down. I mean, drafting is a simple concept to deal with. You've just got a decent amount of iconography in this game to contend with, but for someone like me who's played the game enough times that they're used to all that, throwing in leaders and cities just seems like the perfect blend of expansions to make it a bit more gamery, a bit more interesting. But, you know, I'll play the base set of it, but it's definitely the expansions that have kept this one up the charts. It's not had a ton of plays in the last year, I'll admit, but I do play it on the app every now and again, you know, the phone app. It's got a decent iteration on there. But yeah, to play this one as a 3 to 5 player game, you know, typically when I've got people who are familiar with 7 Wonders and I can throw in extra stuff, this one is still solid. It's just an evergreen drafting game. You know, more fun than something like Sushi Go, which is still a staple gateway game, but not as fiddly as certain other drafting games, and definitely a lot more interesting than what was it called? It's a Beautiful World or something. It's like, nah, much prefer 7 Wonders.
I admire its purity.
25, dropping 9 places from 16. This one is on the way down, I think, at this rate. Although, can the new Americas expansion bring it back up? We shall see when I ever get a copy of it, because Stonemaier doesn't send me anything anymore, go figure. So I have to wait in the UK for the last possible minute when I can get a copy of said expansion for this game.
But I want it now!
And this is Wingspan. Wingspan I still enjoy. It's still, like I say, it's my number 25. It's just in my top 25 games, so I still love Wingspan. It's all down there in one box all the way up to Asia. That stupid nesting box. But with Americas, I might have to consider getting that nesting box out of the cupboard or just having a second box. You know, it depends which one I prefer. But the Americas expansion does sound pretty sweet for it. This hummingbird mechanic and, you know, adding more cards. So I'm definitely down for seeing if this expansion could elevate this back up for me, but it has been dropping. You know, the Asia birds do have some power balance issues. You know, I mean, Stonemaier does not know the first thing about game balance, and, you know, the Asia birds do have some that are just way too powerful. The ones that let you score a public objective or something like that immediately and then again at the end of the game, they're too powerful. You know, if you get that set up, you've won. There's no way you're going to lose. And you know, and I didn't really care much about the whole 1 and 2 player alternate variant, and the flock mode was a waste of space. So Asia was a letdown for this game. And if I want to play Wingspan, I want to play it with Oceania and some extra birds. You know, I don't want to play base set Wingspan anymore. I only want to play it with Oceania and those revised boards that help to balance out the actions a bit. So, you know, there have been some issues with this game, but I still love it as a smooth tableau builder that looks lovely, very pretty, and birds are better than dragons and fish. I'm sorry, they just are.
Dracarys.
You know, so this one is the one out of all the spans that I gun for. Will Americas make it better and prop it further up the list? Who knows? Maybe it will just mean that it will solidify in this area of the list and Americas will kind of keep it there. We shall see. But I am definitely down and hoping that the expansion is a solid one. You know, it sounds good on paper. You know, it does sound good on paper. But until I get it and play with it, I won't know. And sadly, in the UK, we have to wait. I pre-ordered it. You know, I pre-ordered it with my own cash. And it will arrive at some point along with everybody else. So while all the everybody else is getting the reviews out, the ones who got sent it miles in advance, I unfortunately have to wait.
It's not your fault.
If you're the sort of person that is waiting to hear my thoughts on it before you even consider buying it, then fair play to you, and I thank you with the bottom of my heart that you would wait this long with all this other content out there. But yeah, we'll get round to it when it's out, I promise, and I will do it quite quickly as well. So you know, it's just a case of be patient. Number 24 is a new game, and this one, wow, I didn't expect this one to be so high, actually. I mean, the thing is, when I put it in my list, you know, I never did a full review for this game because there's not much to review, but it's really won me over. I ordered it last September. I got it, it was slightly more expensive than it needed to be, but now I think it's a little bit more readily available, but still, I bought it, and it was a small box, bunch of cards. I think it got put in for a competition at the Games Expo or something, for like, or a convention of like games you can design by just using cards, and a set number of cards. And this one is a solo trick taker game, which is weird in itself. I mean, we had co-op trick takers, now we got a solo trick taker. How the hell do you do that? You do it by designing for Northwood. Yeah, I really enjoy this game. It's a cutesy look, good production quality, nice small container. You know, I don't even need to sleeve this game really. The cardstock's that good, and even then I don't think sleeves will fit very well in the box. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, this one is a solo trick taker. You try to win these arguments with these different leaders, and you've got some leader abilities permanently for the game, but then these other ones you can potentially use later on in the game if you've won the arguments with them. But the idea is that you have to win a certain number of tricks. The leader determines the trump suit. They flip a card off the top of the deck. That's effectively their card. They go first, and then you react to the card played. You have to follow normal trick-taking rules, but you want to lose some tricks, you want to win some tricks, and the abilities of these different characters are what give the game variety and what give you such a good sense of tactical play. Because I may be needing to win 6 tricks with this. Like, oh, I gotta win a lot of tricks with this one. Struggling a bit, but hang on, if I trigger that one, I can draw back up to 8 cards. Well, that's good, so we can do that. But then I'm a little bit concerned. If he flips over a trump card, I'm going to waste this really good trump, and I don't want to. So let me just use that ability, exchange, look at the top of the card, top card of the deck. Oh, if I swap that with this one, then that will flip, and I can use this one to win the trick. Okay, great, we've done that. This is the kind of stuff you're doing throughout the whole game, you know, every round. 20 minutes on the box is a load of hogwash. I mean, you're not playing this game in 20 minutes. This is easily like a 40-minute game, probably. But it's just a really good solo game. The rules are not complicated. If you know trick-taking, you already know half the rules anyway. The abilities are not complicated either, but there's a good amount of variety in them. I mean, you only use 4 in front of you, permanently. And then you have another, what is it, 7, I think? 7 of the ones that you could potentially get hold of. You won't necessarily use them all. You won't even necessarily even have access to all of them. And there's still more in the game besides. So each game does feel different enough, but it enables me to get my Trick Taker fix solo. It's a really good design. And people have told me about this one for a while. They said, like, oh, you've really got to try this 4 Northwood one if you like Trick Takers. It's like, if I see a copy, I will. You know, I've heard about it. I'm skeptical about the solo thing, but when I see it, I'll grab it. And when I did see it on a, I can't remember even where I got it from, but, you know, I saw it, bought it. Yep, tiny bit more expensive than it needed to be, but you know what, it was worth it. And yeah, it was worth it. Definitely. It's a really good solo trick-taking game. It's a clever little design, and definitely one of my favorite Trick Taker games that we've got. I mean, is it my favorite? Maybe. Who knows? I mean, looking at the list, it could... Oh, actually, no, not necessarily. But, well, maybe that's a slight spoiler. But, yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. It's won me over. It was a solid recommendation, and I agree. If you want a solo Trick Taker, give this one a look.
Sometimes I don't believe I know you.
23 is, let's see, down 6 places. It's on the way down. It hasn't had as many plays, but still love this one. This is a party game, effectively. And yeah, it's just party games can be high on the list, but it's a group fun game. Yes, you can score points and win it, but who the hell cares? This one is just fun. It's just laugh out loud funny. And it's a spin-off of the whole Mysterium thing, where you've got, or the Dixit thing, where you've got all those big tarot-sized cards with all the weird imagery, and you've got to make up some kind of story with them. But this is Detective Club. This one does not get a lot of praise or buzz because it kind of just came and went. But when I bring it out, it wins people over, and it is so much fun. It's a great little game of, you know, trying to make up stuff on the fly and lie your way out of a situation while also trying to figure out who's the odd one in the group. It's Spyfall mixed with Dixit. You essentially get a clue word from the main person written on a little pad and given to you. Now it might be blank, so you don't know what the word is. Then these Dixit style cards get placed out by everybody, you know, so some people are trying to make it match the word, and one person is just trying to look at what's being played and try and think similarly to them. You know, they got to be very quick-minded, and if you're a bit slow on that front, you know, you're not able to kind of think on the fly very fast or BS your way out of a situation, this might not be the game for you. But, you know, I love doing that kind of thing in games. Whether I pass or fail, that is another question, but I love doing it. And once all the cards are out, the clue word is then revealed, and then everyone has to dictate what they, why their cards work. But the thing is, the clue word may be too abstract that, you know, people just can't come up with decent, credible reasons why they use their cards. And so they stick out like a sore thumb. But then the person who gives us the clue is trying to have the odd one person succeed. So they can't make the clue so obvious that it's a duck. And so everybody else, or, you know, wet, water or something. And so everybody else puts out something with water in it. Somebody doesn't. They stick out like a sore thumb and they'll lose anyway. So you've got to come up with a clue that's not too abstract but not too easy either. And it then also relies on the other player being able to look at what cards have come out, hear the clue word, and then very quickly come up with a credible reason why their cards work, while pointing the finger at others. The stuff that people come up with to link their cards always is potential fall out of chair laughing fodder, because it just can degenerate into such ridiculousness. And I love it when people with the little magnifying glasses, where they're used to accuse, can just listen to a person's story and just instantly chuck it in their direction. We haven't even got to the voting stage yet. They're just like, no, that is BS. That's ridiculous. What are you trying to fool? And they could be legit. They just might be really bad at coming up with a story, or they just didn't have the cards that work. As I said, you gotta play this without taking it too seriously. But if you can do that, this is just such a fun party game. You gotta play it with a minimum of 5 people, though. Doesn't really work with less than that. And I think if you can play it with I can't remember how many it goes up to, if it goes up to 8, but I think if you can get 6 players of this, 5 or 6 players of this, is a perfect number, and it just does so well. Most people have not heard of it, but if you see me and I can bring it to a convention or something, and we can get a bunch of people around, it'll be a laugh. Trust me.
You can trust me with your entertainment.
Number 22 has dropped a place. Single place. controversy? Nah, it's not. This is holding pretty steady. I even played it in late December, or was it early January? I played it last with two friends of mine who really enjoyed the game as well. This is big. It's an event game. It's got a lot of rules you got to learn. It's based off a video game, a very popular video game. This is Glass Cannon Unplugged doing what Glass Cannon Unplugged do best, which is taking really popular IPs and doing faithful service to them. It is hard as nails. You need to use the easy cards every time, otherwise you're just going to get creamed. But man, it did such a good job of representing the source of Frostpunk. This is a great fun co-op. I like playing a solo as well. I can just control the different stations. It's not that much harder to play solo, but play it co-op where you're discussing like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get the resources that we need? I need to dig them out of the snow, but then I'm cold. Then this guy's going to be sick. How many sick children we got? Well, we can't have any more sick children. We need to save the children, you know. But you know, maybe we should actually get the children to do some work for us. You know, can we put them into a engineering factory? I don't know, but it's like, and I love the fact that this is a dark style game. Like, you have got to make sacrifices. It really is the whole Farquaad thing of like, some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. It's just such a dilemma at times, but it's well produced, it looks the part, and it really is so faithful to the original Frostpunk. I heard Frostpunk 2 didn't get a very good reception, and from what I've read up on the subject, yeah, it doesn't sound like it's captured the feeling of Frostpunk, so I haven't really gone near it myself. I'd be interested to know what other people think of Frostpunk 2. But in terms of the original Frostpunk, you know, the game, I'm done with the video game. I've already completed it as much as I can, really. But man, the board game did such a good job of being faithful to it. It's big. It's not for everybody. It's going to take most of the day to play it if you play it with other players. You know, it's a big event game. But it's one of my favourite styles of this. You know, it's just such a thematic, fun story to play. You just got to accept that you got to think a little bit on the dark side.
Stupid anti-pimping laws.
And then my 21 has surprisingly climbed 31 places from 52. I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, I'm surprised it's climbed that high. But then I do really enjoy this one, and I have played it solo in the last year, and also recently at the Bogner Club, much like the Arkham Horror LCG, I got to play another game of this with a group of players. 4 of us played through a DLC scenario for what I believe is probably the best use of an app to coincide with game mechanics, which is the big Mansions of Madness 2nd edition, which is in that box, as well as a crate up there. You know, I have got everything I need for this, and I don't even use the miniatures. The miniatures are pointless. Just use the tiles. It's a lot better, all right? They've got artwork and stats that you need to know. The miniatures suck, all right? So I just bag them up and leave them out of there. But man, this is one of the earliest ones that used an app to coincide with the game, and it's still one of the best implementations. You know, it does everything. Setup is easy. Yes, you got to go through a bucket load of tiles to find the rooms, but that's because I've expanded it up the wazoo. But it's got great narrative, much like the normal Arkham Horror LCG. But once you got the tiles and rooms, is literally just, here's a character, get some starting items, choose scenario, go. That's the setup. The rest of it is done by the app. It shows you what rooms you need. It goes through the story. It has ambient music. It tells you what's going on in the combat. So it's not just you hit him, X damage. No, it actually gives a little blurb as to, you know, you slide underneath the monster's thing and thrust your sword up into its abdomen or something, you know, and it creates that good sense of immersion. But the stories are great. And there's multiple ways you can approach the story sometimes. And obviously the different characters you have are going to influence that as well. It's such a good game. Now, some of the scenarios are better than others, and certainly some of them are a lot longer than others. But they are a great experience. I mean, even with the shorter scenarios, you can get it done in a game night. But with the longer ones, set it up as a bit of a event game with a bunch of you together. And yes, it will take ages to play it, but it'll be great fun. The rules are dead simple. The app helps you with a lot of the rules, but even then, the rules on the side about how you do skill checks and things like that, pretty easy. It's just one of the most immersive, like, story-based games that you can play because the app does such a good job with it. Like, I would have loved to have seen this kind of implementation done for something like Tainted Grail, as immersive and cool as that game was. Imagine if it had the Mansions of Madness app with the Tainted Grail, like, game. I mean, that would have been sick. I mean, really sick in a good way. But you know, this one I don't think it's getting any more content. It's kind of everything I've got is now everything you can get for this. Although if they release more DLC scenarios, then great. You know, I'll make sure I've got them all. You know, the app's not going to die anytime soon, so don't worry about that, you know, all the naysayers. But, you know, it's still just such a fun game. Really do enjoy it. It's, you know, great time. You know, good story, good ambience, and, you know, one of the easier types of this genre to get to the table. And that speaks volumes. So there you are. I've only got a few minutes left on the camera, it seems, but not much to say. I mean, that is the 30 through to 21, so we're definitely into games that I love to bits, so games that can be rated 9 and 10 out of 10s easily with this one. I don't think anything on this list from 30 to 21 would be something I would rate anything lower than a 9. No. Pretty confident now that this is, like, you know, it was a mix and match with the last 20 in terms of what might be a 9 or a 10. Was there even any 8s? No, I think everything would have at least been a 9 out of 10 on these. So, as I say, it is pretty much 9s that go into my top 50 plus. So these are all seal of distinction games for me. But yeah, now we're in the creme de la creme. We're talking games with a 10 rating that I love to bits, that, you know, they get the plays. And in fact, actually, 1 or 2 could be considered to be 9 out of 10s when I reviewed them, or even lower at the time, but they've climbed, they've gotten better. So yeah, I suppose it is still a bit of a mixed bag in terms of that, but like I said, don't pay too much attention to the ratings that I've given them in the past. Games get better, they get worse. I mean, this is what happens. As time passes, games that stand the test of time will be ones that I get to still sing the praises of, and ones that don't stand the test of time, they'll fade out, and you'll see that they fade out. And you might have noticed it with some of the ones that are dropping. You know, there is an element of fade out there. So, you know, like I say, don't take it too seriously. But for the next batch, what do we got? 20 to 11, we're looking at only 1 new title in the next batch. The rest of them have been on my list before, but there is a mix of faders and climbers. So yeah, you're going to be interested to see what turns up there. So yeah, can't wait to get cracking. But for now, I need to just actually edit the 2 that I've just recorded today. So, and not to mention, as I said, I need to set this table up for Underwater Cities later. And that's it for me on this episode. If you like what you see, then please thumb it up and share it on social media. Get the word out, let people watch it. All helps with the algorithm and obviously the supporting the channel. The Patreon is there if you do want to support the channel. Recently, Kiender sadly went out of business, so I've lost my official sponsor. So the Patreon is definitely the best way to help support me get review copies of games. Wingspan Americas for a good example. And by all means, get your comments down below. Do you love or hate these games? Regardless of the reason, it's my list. I love these games. You're not going to faze me if you hate them, but I'd still like to know your reasons why, if that is the case. Until next time, remember, it's only a game, and I'll see you on the next batch of the Top 50. Take care, everyone.